What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Box to Box. My name is Harry Hicks, and I'm joined by Thomas McKeon and Max Botcher. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi.
Welcome to the
Hey,
podcast.
the pod. We're back.
Hey.
We are back. Another week, another episode. Big week, I think. Well, big week upcoming, honestly.
Yeah,
Bigger
last week, honestly, for a lot of clubs, at least.
Oh, ending? Yeah,
Yeah.
Prem ends this week. I saw all these videos, actually. It was making me kind of sad watching all these videos of all these players leaving their clubs.
Oh my gosh, there's so many.
Like Chiellini, Dybala. Those ones I saw a lot of. Like Juve posted a lot of stuff on their Instagram of them.
Dybala was in
Pretty sad.
tears.
I know. I was so
In
sad watching
tears.
it, yeah. I'm trying to think. There was definitely more.
Insigne, Mark Noble, Insigne, Fabregas from Monaco. I think he's leaving Monaco, but it's not a big deal. Suarez.
Suarez, yeah.
I have a list. What am I doing? Haaland. Yeah,
Pogba.
Pogba.
Mata.
Pogba, I don't know, yeah. Juan Mata.
Well,
Oh,
it's
Mata
it's
could-
weird
Matic.
because there are so many.
Danny
names.
Drinkwater maybe he's finally due.
Well, like
That'd be pretty
there's
sick.
so many names that might be out the door, but it's like Leva, like it's like he's like clapping and doing all that stuff, but he's probably gonna be gone. I would say. I would guess.
Yeah, it sucks that.
I think that's why he was copying. I think that's why, because he said afterwards that was probably my last Bayern game.
Yeah, but I guess we can jump into it because Bayern are like he has a contract to 2023 that like they expect him to honor it. But if I'm Bayern, or if I'm any team, why would you want a player there that's like not fully committed, at least to the future, like to the current season even? Like he's just gonna be
Yeah.
unhappy.
Does he like?
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to like, well, I don't know. That's very tough. And that's where it gets, because like obviously he signed a contract committing himself to this amount of time.
Right.
So it would like make sense for him to uphold that, but also, I don't know, like the way soccer works,
I know.
there's a lot of in and out. So
like once it gets to the final year, it's almost as if it's already out, and like you have the opportunity to then like look around. If you have less than a year on your contract, that's basically saying the club doesn't want you there for the future. So it's kind of fair on both sides to just like kind of loosen up your allegiance.
It's so tough though because Bayern want him there, but he announced he's not willing to sign a contract or an extension, and he wants to leave. I assume to Barcelona, and he's agreed to personal terms. But Bayern need to figure out like a replacement.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Bayern can say no. Like,
yeah, they can say no.
They can say like you have to play out, and like he has a contract to play for Bayern, which is honestly nice. I mean, they probably will want a price from Barcelona that Barcelona won't pay because, I mean, will they pay? Are they in financial trouble or do they just like buy
No.
everyone? It
We
doesn't
really
matter.
don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, remember like when Ousmane Dembele was at Dortmund and he wanted to go to Barcelona and he had a contract and they said we're not selling him and he just stopped showing up to practices. He stopped like showing up to like I think games and like literally forced them to make the transfer, which is horrible. Like as a player, like I feel like you shouldn't do that. Like it's not professional.
I'm sure he gets fined.
Yeah, for missing practices and stuff. But now, like, because of Gnabry and Leva potentially leaving, like, Ousmane Dembele is someone Bayern's looking at. Like, João Felix, Harry Kane, Richarlison, apparently, just, like, looking at, like, at this point, they're almost, like, scrambling to, like, find replacements. Because if they lose those two guys, which is looking likely, it's a big hit for them. So
Yeah, I saw Gnabry potentially to Arsenal. I also saw a
played there.
Chelsea Lewa rumor today.
I saw that too. I would actually like that.
No,
And-
I feel like
well, people were saying like Lukaku kind of does fit the type of player Bayern want. You know, typical number 9. So if there's like some type of swap,
yeah, but does giving Chelsea another typical number 9 fix the problem? Probably not, right? I don't think
I don't know.
I don't think Lukaku's a bad player. I don't think he fits Chelsea. I think that's the problem.
I think we're slowly getting better, and I feel like Lukaku is I think he's going to stay another year, and hopefully we figure out how to actually feed him. I think it was 60% us not actually forming the team around him, because he's a very specific player. He didn't fit into the system. We didn't like mold our system whatsoever. So I think he stays. I don't think Lewa comes to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only serious rumors that I've seen around Lukaku was to AC Milan. And I know like his agent was talking about it too. Like, yeah, maybe we'll see if something can happen with AC Milan over the summer. So that's obviously like a pretty big statement. But yeah, I agree with you, Tom. I think it was kind of... He also has been playing better recently.
Yeah.
Which would maybe... And the fact that he's been playing at all, honestly, kind of lends to Tuchel trying it out again.
Yeah.
Basically. He started the FA Cup.
Yeah, and it's his first year. Like, it's his first season. Like,
we saw that with Thiago.
Usually it takes time.
Exactly. Yeah, it just takes time to get into a rhythm, and you're at a new team, a new environment, everything. So, yeah, I don't know.
I think it's a interesting question of when does a player go too far in terms of like breaking his allegiance with a club. I read an article this morning about Christensen, detailing kind of what actually happened behind the scenes, and how like earlier in the year he was offered a $140K a week contract for 5 years, and it was like basically confirmed, barring some minor details, and those minor details became major details when it was like Christensen wasn't getting a signing bonus when most contracts have a signing bonus, and there was issues with the agent fee, and his dad was the agent. So Christensen slowly was like, either these are major issues now, and now that I'm thinking about it, I don't want to sign a 5-year contract. I want a 3-year contract because I want to be 27 out in the free market and like make money, because I think I'm that type of player.
That makes sense.
It makes sense, but then like, yeah, that makes sense for Christensen to back out and say like, I think I'm worth more than 140 million, or for 140K a week. 140 million would be dope.
He's an incredible defender.
Yeah. But then he started like this weekend he was supposed to play in the FA Cup and he refused. And apparently there was issues like that throughout not only this year, but I remember I was like reading comments saying when Sarri was our coach, he would kind of flake out of games, big games, because he like had nerves. And then this year it was probably a mixture of that and just like being out of favor and just like the contract talks going away, and it gets to the point where it's almost unprofessional. But also I think that a lot of the conversation around the players are more like we treat them like FIFA cards, or just like tools for the team, and they're like real people who actually deserve to like say, no, I'm gonna like strike and get a better contract, because that's fair. Like they deserve as much money as they deserve on like the open market.
Well, the way I think about it, if I were a player in that position, like if he wants to leave and he doesn't have a contract after this year, if he gets hurt that game, like he's going to lose out on money. Like maybe someone won't sign him, or he definitely won't get as much money as he would have if he was like healthy.
Yeah.
So at that point, why risk your health and why risk your future for just this one game if you're leaving?
Yeah.
And you see a lot of people sit out of games just because they're protecting themselves and they're up for a new contract. Why even risk like something happening?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the counter to that is like Antonio Rudiger's leaving, but he's out there playing his heart out for the FA Cup because it's a big trophy for us.
But he has a contract signed, I think, with Madrid.
With Madrid, yeah, but
I don't think Christensen has a contract signed, does he?
I think it's not confirmed, but Barcelona came out saying that they signed contracts with like a midfielder and a defender, and it's like
Kessie and Christensen.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not confirmed, but I think they're keeping it they're not releasing it until the end of the season.
Sounds like Mbappe.
But it's like,
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah, I mean, I
really
think
similar.
it kind of makes sense, and I think it is tough because you don't, Christensen, whatever, came from the academy, and like obviously, I mean, I would think cares about Chelsea and stuff like that, but to the same extent, he probably like you said, he feels like he should or deserves more, and probably feels slightly disrespected by Chelsea, and so I think it's probably within his right to like stand up for himself in that way.
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's all, like it is weird if he has already signed the contract that he would just not play. That seems a little odd.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was something else going on or whatnot because I don't really know the reason that he wasn't there. But yeah, that is a little odd.
Yeah.
I did see that report too. I saw like basically he said like he wasn't feeling well, but like wasn't ill. So like I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's probably the excuse the agent gave for
Right.
Yeah.
him.
I'm
just
not feeling
playing.
up to it today.
Yeah. Yeah, with all that, I mean, we can also talk about the FA Cup, which ended 0-0 on full time, 0-0 on extra time, and then was 1-4
4-3.
Yes.
4-3
maybe. I don't
Liverpool 4-3 on penalties. Oh, actually,
Because
no.
Mountain
There's a
Aspi
few more.
missed.
know. Yeah.
Mountain Aspi missed.
Yeah,
I think it was almost
either
6-5?
5-4. I might have been 6-5. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I forgot it was a little more.
Yeah, with
'Cause that great save.
Mane missed, Aspi missed, and Mason Mount missed. Which actually I was thinking about was like kind of surprising who missed because we saw like Simicast obviously scored the winner. I wouldn't have thought of him to take like a big penalty.
Yeah.
Ross Barkley subbed on, hasn't been playing for Chelsea for months. Had a great pen.
Great pen.
And then you have players like Mane who you think would put it away easy. Aspi and Mason Mount, two of Chelsea's like rock stars or like Chelsea through and through type of players with pretty poor penalties. But that being said, I don't really know how I feel about this game. As a Chelsea fan, I feel obviously upset. I wanted a trophy. And I don't know if this is like, I don't know, not enough pride that I'm saying this, but like I also like am pleased to see us go 120 minutes right up against Liverpool, who I think are the best team in the world right now. So I don't really have shame in that. And I think we had a very good chance of winning. Obviously, it was right down into penalties. So yes, I would have liked the penalty, but I don't think I'm like very like super disappointed. I think the fact that my disappointment more comes from losing two finals to Liverpool in penalties and then losing all these FA Cups in a row to Arsenal 2 years ago and then Leicester last year, which is just pretty unfortunate.
insane, yeah.
It's like 3 in
Yeah.
a row.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
tough. So we can talk about the game, but also I want to ask you, like, there's been some stuff saying, okay, Chelsea didn't get any trophies this season.
Super Cup.
While they've had the Super Cup and the Club World Cup within this calendar year. That being said, I kind of get the argument for not any trophies this year because those kind of are
Those are like
results of our performance last year.
I count those as like half trophies, like Community Shield. It's not a trophy. They're like
Well,
shields.
no, I think Super Cup and FA Cup, I think, or in the Club World Cup, I think are great trophies, but they were only there because we won the Champions League.
Yeah.
So those
They're-
came from last season's work.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where not even the value of the trophy, just kind of where it's coming from, what year it lies in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of caps off our year as of Chelsea's year as being and Liverpool being great. So I wasn't terribly upset about it. I was hyped when Mendy saved that penalty because I like walking in. Sadio Mane steps up. That's like a 85% chance that it's going in, and they win it.
Mm-hmm.
And Mendy
knows
reads him.
Yeah, they're on the same national
Have
team. I'm
some
sure he
life.
knows how he likes to take his pens.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool moment.
Yeah, I feel bad for Mason Mount.
Apparently, the entire time I was watching, I was like,
he
"Where's
didn't
Reese
play
and
very
where's
well.
Mason Mount? Why are they going after everyone?"
I think Pulley was their best player. Pulisic.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
He's always great against Liverpool, for some reason.
He's a big game player, honestly.
Yeah.
He plays well under the lights.
Yeah.
I like honestly like the rest of the game. There was moments, but like extra time was so bland.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, okay, yeah, this is already going to penalties, which is I guess a little unfortunate, but so I don't know.
Yeah. It was sad to see Salah hurt too again.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll be.
But that's like, I don't know if it was like a precautionary thing, like let's just take him off, because it didn't look like he was like in pain, but it could just be like a muscular thing, which.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at any reports. I think. Yeah, I mean, I think either way, if he's, obviously if he's injured, he's coming off. But even if he has a slight knock or something like that, he's coming off, waiting for the Champions League final.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
How about that lineup they put out today for the Southampton game?
I think nine changes.
Yeah, pretty much from the Villarreal game, or like even the Chelsea game, it was like 8 or 9 changes.
Yeah.
The only people left were like Konate and Jota and Henderson,
Which
is crazy that they're basically a full team of backups, and Allison was there, are still able to like beat a mid-table side, and it's crazy that their full starters probably would beat Southampton like 5-0. Like that side was relatively weak in terms of Liverpool standards, and it still is like better than most of the teams in the Premier League.
Yeah,
which is crazy. But also like they're all like, Liverpool has great recruiting because all those players are like pretty exciting too. Like Samakis, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott.
Yeah.
They're still like pretty interesting players and can compete, but they're also still like players that wouldn't complain too much for being on the bench because of like their skill level, but they're still getting enough minutes. I think it's just like testament of how well run Liverpool is. Like I know all those players because I've seen them in Liverpool games in like small moments, so they all get minutes enough to like put them all together, and they're able to beat a team. They're not like frozen off the bench.
Yeah.
Arsenal. Gosh, what a meltdown.
Dude, I would be so mad if I was an Arsenal fan.
Okay, listen to this. This is a Bleacher Report posted this today. Just Arsenal things. Arsenal in the league this season. Lose first 3 in last place. Unbeaten in next 8. Lose next 3 of 4. Win next 9 of 11. Start April in 4th. 6 points. 6 points ahead of Spurs. Lose 3 straight. Win 4 straight.
Yeah.
Lose 2 straight and need a miracle on the final match day to be top 4.
They lost to Tottenham, obviously. And then
dismantled.
Newcastle. They looked like they had nothing going for them against Newcastle. That's like such a shame.
And Chaka and a lot of the players were saying they don't deserve to be a top 4 team by these like last performances that they need. They don't deserve to be in the Champions League.
Did Xhaka play today?
He played against Newcastle.
Today, yeah. Or
was
Tottenham.
it yesterday,
Yesterday.
I think.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, Liverpool was today. Yeah.
But
Yeah, dude, I would be so mad because like, and I'm trying to think about like, we're at the, obviously one game to go, but we can kind of talk about like if Arsenal has had a successful season, or even the rest of these teams. I was thinking about that with Chelsea too. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think this Arsenal season was a success, or do you think they needed to get that top 4 spot to be like to consider this like a good season for them?
I think it's a success because they've shown that they can actually be a team that's a force. I feel like they're still a really young team. I think Martin Odegaard was the captain against that Newcastle for that Newcastle game, which is ridiculous. That
the captain's like most of their games.
That their captain is, how old is he now? Probably
23.
23. Remember when he was 16 and
he was the wonder kid.
The wonder kid on Real
Madrid.
Yeah. That was 7 years ago and he's still only 23. But I feel like before, like years past, Arteta's Arsenal, they beat Chelsea in the FA Cup, but that was like an anomaly. Like they should not have won.
Being Aubameyang.
And then the year after, they still looked like I don't know, they're always like around the 5th or 6th. But this Arsenal team has shown like burst of like real potential instead of just like being better than, I don't know, Leicester and like the other like Wolves teams like that. I feel like they have players like Smith Rowe, Odegaard,
Martinelli,
and like even like
Saka.
Ben White and
Saka.
Gabriel, who are like top class players, and when they're on can compete with like the top 3 teams.
Yeah.
So that's surprising, but they need a few more pieces to actually piece it together.
I bet they can still. I mean, I would assume they have money to spend over the summer, and they can probably. I don't know how many people they can sell because they're not going to sell like they're.
Pepe doesn't really play.
No, he never plays. I don't know if they can get that much money for him. They bought him for like 70 million.
Yeah, 70 or 80 mil.
Yeah.
Lacazette's leaving, and Nketiah might leave.
He's like their only striker. Like, who do they have left?
Well, that's why I think that's why they want to sign Gabby Jesus, which I think would fit very, very well.
Very well.
And obviously he's like getting time recently, but he's not going to start over Haaland. So, which I
imagine?
keep forgetting. Yes, I think he would fit in well there because he is like an out and out 9, but like flexible. You know, he can play down the center, but also can play elsewhere, and that's kind of how Arsenal play. They play whatever 4-2-3-1 basically, but they also haven't really played with a conventional number 9 this whole season. Obviously, Laka's been in there at some points, but he's been injured, so they've had to look to Nketiah, who's definitely not a traditional number 9, or other players. So
yeah,
I think it would fit well.
I was looking at Arsenal's like the amount of goals they've scored, and they haven't scored that many goals like compared to the other top 6 or 7 teams.
Well, yeah, I mean, like obviously they're only a couple points off Chelsea, and similarly with Tottenham's only a couple points off Chelsea, but the goal differential is like 20 plus to Chelsea,
and Arsenal
which just
9.
means Chelsea needs to get more points. But
yeah,
that's probably the bigger takeaway.
But yeah, I mean, when I look at Arsenal, I think striker, and then I think of like a center mid, honestly, like Xhaka, and who was the other one, like El Neni
He's good. I like El Neni,
and he's young too, right?
I don't know if he's that young. He might be like 26,
so
27.
I would look for like maybe another like free agent signing maybe as a center mid, but I love the defense, like Tomiyasu coming back from injury. I think he got injured again actually that game. But I think he's great.
Cedric is not that great,
and Aaron Ramsdale made huge saves that game too. Like,
yeah, he was huge.
He's kind of like a over the top, like kind of like makes a spectacle out of each save. Yeah, flair trait, where he makes these saves where it's like really not that difficult, but he like does it over the top. But I think
either way, he's
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I would call I don't know if I would call their season a success or a failure. It's probably kind of what was expected. Is maybe not even to be in contention for 4th, but just to get European football and probably get Europa League. I think is probably what I would have expected out of Arsenal. So I think I would call their season kind of just what should have happened. But I do think it definitely does give them light. And I think, comparatively to Arsenal over the past 20 years, that's a failure. But how they've been recently, and they've really been kind of in need of this makeover, and obviously like trust the process with Arteta, but it seems like it could be coming around, or at least the players seem to be there. The consistency definitely isn't from this up and down shit that we've seen, but like
it's crazy.
The players are there. If they get a couple more pieces, mature another year, I think they'll be a much more serious force next year rather than kind of like a surprise.
Yeah.
I think Tottenham to get 4th for Tottenham, I think is good.
Yeah, definitely. I think they did it by kind of luck that Arsenal shat the bed. But still, I feel like it feels like those top 5 teams, it's not top 6 anymore because Man United are booty, at least for another year until Ten Hag can really like implement his style. It feels like a solidifying of like Arsenal and Tottenham are back with Conte and with Arteta actually creating a team at Arsenal that it seems like that's going to be the top 5. I'm honestly worried for Chelsea with all the change we're going through with our center backs and the fact that we can't really score goals with our current attackers, and with a new owner coming in, there could be some tumultuous times for the next year. But I don't see that lasting too long. So I don't know. Like 2 years ago, it was just a bunch of Arteta memes being shit, and Tottenham not being that great, and Chelsea under Lampard after a summer transfer ban. To now, where all three of those teams are a lot better and more improved, and Liverpool and Man City are even better, and like than they were a couple of years ago, like solidified best teams in Europe. So it shows that like the Premier League is kind of just like is such a competition that all these teams are like forced to improve. And even like if you go a little lower, like teams like Brighton and West Ham are like forces that can compete with those teams at times. And if they're in Europe, I guess West Ham didn't make it to the Europa League final, but a couple of years ago, West Ham weren't even close to the Europa League final. Teams that had the chance were Man U and Chelsea and not West Ham, So I think it's I see that trend of the Premier League being that good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, also to the same extent, I think it just like in Europe, we've also seen a lot of energy behind all these English teams.
Mm-hmm.
And like in America, those are the teams we see. But also then like knock knock, Villarreal, boom. Like
Yeah.
I guess Villarreal didn't beat an English team, but they obviously like showed their stuff.
Competed.
And like these other teams, Real Madrid going over Man City. But internally, yes, I do agree, Tom, that like the Premier League seems to be just getting more and more competitive, or just also all these teams are obviously just keep investing their money, so they're always going to be growing. I think Tottenham, I think they are like had a good season. Obviously, it seems like they're going to clinch top 4, which is good for them.
Yeah.
But I think they're doing it more because, like you said, Tom, because Arsenal choked and because Man U just sucked this season.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at the beginning of the year, Man U probably was the pick to get top 4.
Yeah.
Just signed Ronaldo. Like, obviously, that's kind of expected. So with that being said, I think Tottenham, if they, seemingly Man United are going through this whole makeover, and Arsenal are growing as a team, probably will get some of those bigger pieces in there over the summer. I think Tottenham also need to spend big if they want to stay in this, keep growing and get top 4 again next year, because I think the other two teams have kind of failed, but it kind of lights them a fire with, we got to keep rebuilding or keep building. I think Tottenham, I don't think they're going to settle, obviously, but they're also known for not spending any money, and I think they need to use this money that they're getting from the Champions League and like buy some players this year, because
we need some sick wingbacks for that system.
Tottenham's good, but they're not great. They just rely on
Kane and Son,
and they did well to bring in Kulusevski and Bentancur, and I think they need to like keep going on that. Honestly,
Kulusevski, a lot of people are saying like signing of the season instead of Diaz.
Yeah.
He's played so well.
He has played well.
Honestly. So.
Every time I watch him, he's a beast on the ball.
Is he a ginger? Redhead?
Kind of.
Yeah.
He was at Juve for how long was he at Juve?
Kulusevski?
Yeah.
A couple of years.
Yeah,
he's only
not
21.
I think it might have been like a season and a half, honestly, because he never played really at Juve. He was bought as a striker, but like never really played.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
So is there any way Manchester City lose the league this weekend? They're up 2 points.
Coutinho!
Yeah, Coutinho. Imagine Steven Gerrard winning Liverpool the league.
No, I mean I could see that happening. Obviously, like that's kind of what has been touted as the possibility ever since we saw Liverpool coming back, with Villa being the last game on City's calendar. Coutinho and Gerrard doing it for Liverpool, but I don't think I see that happening.
Yeah.
I think City win 4-0. Like
I know.
If I'm being honest, like I think they.
It's gonna be like 8.
I think
they're gonna put them away.
Yeah.
I saw the odds are like 85% to City.
City, yeah. Well, City have to lose for
City
Liverpool to
they have to
have a chance, because they're up by 2 points. I think the
they're
goal
up by
difference.
one.
They're up by 1.
Oh, really?
They're up by 1 point.
Oh, okay.
They're up by 1 point, so it'll be if they tie and Liverpool win, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the goal differential isn't there. But I don't.
Yeah.
I guess how would they tie? If City lose and Liverpool tie,
Yeah. And then
it seems unlikely. Yeah. So I mean, I think Liverpool will win their game against Wolves, and I think City will win their game. I think that's kind of as looking on the season as a whole. Looking
as a whole and the season
as a
whole.
whole. I think that's kind of like what makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's probably. Yes, I would rather have Liverpool win than City, but I think City probably deserve it. You know, they've been looking at the points, have been the better team, and I think they kind of deserve to smash it home and win.
They're almost so identical though. Like one loss apart, goals for, goals against, like they're almost identical.
I know. Remember when City was up by like 10 points? That's the crazy
fact.
Yeah,
that was the crazy
part.
That
Liverpool came back and made it a title race, because for a while it was just not like...
It was not even close.
Not even close, yeah.
Looking at the table now, it's City at 90, Liverpool 89, and then Chelsea 70. Like that's a 20-point drop-off with 7 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's the difference. That's the difference between
That's
those
the difference that Chelsea have been trying to fight for 3 years.
Yeah.
Have not gotten any closer, really.
No. So we don't have a long-term plan. We just buy.
Well, yeah. So, again, I think we talked about that last week. That's what I'm hoping will change with Bowley.
And honestly, as much as... maybe this is pro-American bias right now, but if you look at...
That's what we're about. Come on.
No, but Arsenal and Liverpool have American owners, and although they're probably hated they are hated. I guess Man U also has American owners,
Glazer.
But I guess forward-thinking owners, but also these American owners that see it as like a business, especially Liverpool, that just have kind of a strategy for the long term. Like Liverpool has that strategy. I feel like I trust Bowley to come in and create a strategy that is more long-term thinking than a Abramovich just like get the best players that worked 10 years ago, but it doesn't work anymore because of the competition. I think
I feel similarly about Bowley, but I feel that way more because of how he's done with the Dodgers, and because the Dodgers are kind of always pretty good and always right around there.
Except they choke in the playoffs. Kershaw can't pitch, so this is not baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really watch that much baseball, but like, yeah, the Dodgers are good, and they like kind of always are good. And like, you know, we saw the Cubs are like good, and now they're shitty again. So
the Dodgers they were a big market team before Bowley came in, and like weren't always that great. And since he's come in, he's really just like made a team that's good every single year. And they've only won the World Series once, but they make the playoffs pretty much every year. And this year they are by far the best team in baseball.
I wonder how much you can contribute that to ownership though. And as a follow-up, like he owns the Dodgers. Does he invest like everything the Dodgers make? Does he only invest that into the Dodgers, or does he also like invest some of that into Chelsea? Because in Arsenal's case, like Stan Kroenke, he owns the Rams, and the Rams just won the Super Bowl, and so he has a ton of money from the Rams. Like, can he like put that money into Arsenal? Like, how does that work? I don't even know if you guys know the answer to that.
I don't really know.
I was laughing at Cranky.
Oh yes, Stan Kroenke. How do you pronounce
Stan Kroenke?
I didn't hear Stan Kroenke, but whatever.
Kroenke, I think.
Kroenke.
I just laughed.
Dutchman.
I don't know.
I think it's like they separate the businesses, and if you make money for one team, they put that money back in, and they're just like taking money off the top of all of them.
Maybe, I mean, yeah. I also think, obviously, like, Bowley is profiting some from the Dodgers, so, and he's like, to a certain extent, has to invest his own money, which some of that is coming from the Dodgers and will go to Chelsea. Some of it probably will go from Chelsea to the Dodgers, just in the fact that he's like making money off of them.
Right.
You know, it's not like direct.
Right.
I wonder, like...
And I don't think that's... Sorry to interrupt. I don't think that's like I guess that's probably like a non-point, because either way, it's just his money that he's investing.
Yeah, it's really just up to him how much it's like in FIFA when you have a stringy owner and you're always asking for, you're the manager, you're the manager, ask for more transfer funds.
Of course.
Will that owner actually give it to you?
Yeah.
It's always no in FIFA.
Yeah. But I think, nice to answer your question, like, is Boley being the owner of the Dodgers like the reason that they're always good? And I want to say yes. Because yes, he isn't making like the on-field decisions and might not be choosing the players they buy and stuff, but he's part of the conversation. He's there. I think has already had meetings, it looked like, with the Chelsea coaches. So like, I think that's all good.
Yeah.
And everything that I've seen is good. I think the only bad thing is that I keep seeing in the media that it's like, oh, it's not going to go through. There's something else that's come up, or I think there's been a lot of legality issues for them confirming that 1.5 million goes to the correct places. Because I think the thing they keep saying is Abramovich is like out front in the media about saying, oh yeah, this is all going to charitable sources. But then there's not really like in the contracts and stuff, there's not really a confirmation of any of that. So I think that's what I think the government was trying to become more involved to ensure that the money went to the right places, which makes sense.
Some offshore charity.
Yeah, I think that's why they wanted to put in like a third party bank account so they could monitor it.
Yeah.
Which also makes sense. So I could see, I mean, that's like a valid thing to be holding up, but I also think, even with all that stuff going on, I feel like they would be able to sort out by the 31st.
Yeah.
I mean, I sort out most of my banking matters through Venmo in 60 seconds, so I assume buying the team can't take that long.
Yeah, Boley's Venmoing Abramovich.
Gotta be.
He's gonna Venmo him 1.5 billion, and he'll transfer it to his bank account.
I heard Abramovich is just gonna leave it in there and just as like fake money, like my Venmo.
Sure, yeah.
You know,
you pay for dinner, I'll just Venmo you. It's fake money.
It's fake money, whatever.
It's already there.
You know, Venmo's like instant transfer fee. It's like 0.3% to transfer instantly.
Yeah.
0.3% of 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
I don't know the math.
Abramovich,
Tommy,
he's really impatient. He can't wait 3 days.
I can't wait the 2 to 3 days to transfer. I'll pay like a $20 million tax.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh! Before we started this, Dybala is rumored to choose Roma over Inter. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I would love that.
Which is
That'd be
crazy.
sick.
Mourinho effect, basically. But I mean,
that would be sick. I would like that.
I
would like that because it's a little bit more out of left field, and him going to Inter. First of all, I feel like can't bode well with the Juve fans.
Right.
I don't really know. I feel like Roma's a little bit further down the pecking order. That it might not be as big of a deal.
Yeah, Inter and Juve have a pretty big rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
But Roma isn't really.
I think for Dybala, that's a little bit surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what type of money he's getting from these teams, but he's not going to be challenging for trophies with Roma. But it'd be fun to see him play there.
I think it'd be cool. Yeah.
Him and Tammy link up.
Tammy.
It's kind of sweet.
Tammy.
Dude, I think I was telling you guys about this, that I saw Tammy was rumored to be like 70 or 80 million. It was like one of like the strikers up for sale.
Yeah.
Which like, I don't know how they're valuing that. But it was just, I thought that was just funny that.
Well, a player that scores that many goals in Serie A, yeah. But also, it's just like if he goes back to the Premier League, he'll probably be a similar player than he was. Maybe better
than Lukaku.
You get Tammy to Arsenal.
See, honestly, he would fit.
That would be great.
That's why
them.
I saw the rumor. I was like, who is Arsenal going to get? And I was like, okay, yeah, you can get all these different players. But Arsenal's always linked with every striker in the world, including like, remember when they were like heavily linked with Vlahovic, but like that was never going to happen.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because they simply didn't have the money, and at the time were doing very, very poorly. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, wow. Wow.
Yes, well, I would like to see that Dybala to Juve.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Harry Kane to Bayern.
That would also make sense.
But I didn't know Harry Kane, he's turning 29 this summer. I thought he was way older.
I did too. I was surprised you said that.
I thought he was like 32.
Yeah.
Hell, he wants a trophy, so Bayern's a pretty safe catch.
Yeah, it'd be pretty safe. That's actually funny because over the weekend Bayern did the whole like trophy thing, whatever, and Sule like held it up, and like a bunch of the Bayern teammates were like enjoy, it's your last trophy.
Dang.
So
Damn, rude.
Didn't Dortmund win a trophy this year? Didn't they win the Polka?
I think they're in the final.
Okay.
For that, or maybe
Polka?
they won it.
I don't know. Either
But
way, they were close to
yeah.
it because Bayern didn't get there. So
Yeah, no, Bayern lost like
Gladbach,
5-1.
right?
That was great. Man, this was just like such a poor season for Bayern, honestly.
you think? Yeah. Well, I mean, crashing out of the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's like I asked this question about Arsenal, but let's do Bayern and Chelsea if the season was a success or failure, which is like obviously like kind of harsh terms, but call them out.
I think Bayern. It's tough because I don't want to label like a season a failure, and it's like hard to measure that stuff because I think it's a success. It was Nagelsmann's first year. They did what they're expected to do, at least, which is win the Bundesliga. But that's going to be their only trophy. And there's a lot of things that Bayern need to change, like players coming in. Gravenberch looks like it's finalized. Fabrizio tweeted about that, which is huge. But
That's sick. I like all these Ajax players.
yeah, Allaire.
I know.
That's another one that like I think
I
Arsenal
want to
was
be
talking
Ten Hag
about.
managing Ajax.
Yeah,
That's my dream, to be Eric Ten Hag last season.
Yeah, but
One day.
I don't think it's a failure. The Villarreal thing was like unfortunate, but it was Nagelsmann's first year coaching, new system. Like they played a completely different system.
Yeah, I actually forgot it was even his first season because remember, like in the beginning, it was looking a little tough
Yeah,
for like those first 2 or 3 games.
yeah, it was looking tough. Well, he didn't. I don't think he won a single preseason game. Was the thing.
And then that first game was like 0-0 or something, or
Yeah,
I think they tied.
It's going to be
so I guess-
interesting what they do over the summer because I think there are going to be a lot of changes, and I think internally Bayern's like sporting director who has had problems, like he was the reason like Hansi Flick left. So like the way he does a lot of his transfers is like very odd, and I think a lot of the board like directors on the board are like unhappy with him. Like he like reaches out to all these players after like they've signed contracts. Like Rudiger, like he was trying to like get in on the Rudiger deal after he signed like Real Madrid's contract. Like it's too late.
Yeah.
It's like it's too late. Or he won't spend a certain amount of money for like players. Like Bayern's very frugal, which I'm happy with, but also to compete in the Champions League, at some point you're gonna have to spend a lot of money for difference makers on your team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're doing the right steps now, and I am happy that Bayern invests a lot into their academy players and their like youth players, and I'm happy. Like Bayern's usually so far ahead, we get to see a lot of these young players play, which is fun. Like Stanisic or Musiala and other players, but I don't know. They have to have a lot of success next year because otherwise there's going to be like a lot of questions. So, but I would say success.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah. Chelsea. I would say 6. I guess
I'm a go. I think it's a failure
Yeah, I kind of.
because I don't really care about trophies at this point because I care about progression to get to the point where we're at the level of Liverpool and Man City, and not even like we got to a FA Cup final, we secured third place. Like those are fine, and like maybe we could have won either the Carabao or FA Cup, and it would have kind of a highlight, given us something to take away from the season. But way worse is losing Rudiger, losing Christensen, losing Asby, and having Lukaku not progress, having a lot of our
owner sanctioned.
Our owner sanctioned, yes, but like in terms of the team, like having a lot of players just either regress, like Conte isn't looking great, or a lot of our young attackers just like stalling in terms of their progression as players. They don't look like they're going to be some of the best players in the world. They look like they're gonna be great players, but not amazing players, and that's kind of like Pulisic. Timo never panned out. Kai looks great at some times, and then at some other times, Ziyech never panned out. It's just like a lot of our attackers never panned out.
Who's improved for Chelsea this season compared to last season?
I don't know, Reece James maybe.
Rudiger. Chilwell. Injured. Reece James, I think, played well.
And Mount is better every year.
Yeah.
I mean, Kai improved.
Yeah.
I think Kai definitely improves.
Yeah, he's the one attacker that has like potential to be like the linchpin of our attack in the future.
I think Kovacic had a great season.
Oh yeah.
And I think most days he's our best midfielder. Loftus-Cheek, honestly, yeah, as well. Saul, I totally forgot about him.
Oh my gosh.
No. Yeah, I mean, Tom, I think I was hesitant to say, I was like, okay, success, we got third place, we got to 2 finals. But I think I do agree with you in the failure, and even like forget the contract stuff and all that off the field stuff. That is all negative. I agree with you. Even on the field, this is Tuchel's first full season. But we didn't really shake a lot of those woes that we faced under Lampard with struggles to score goals and can't beat Arsenal, can't beat Man U. Obviously, I guess we beat Arsenal first time around, but we can't beat those 2 teams consistently when we have the better side. And we also lose unexpectedly to a lot of these poor teams, like Brentford 4-1. Mm-hmm. And we faced those same problems under Lampard. And so I don't think that's really changed.
What?
Yeah, so I don't think that's really changed. Sorry. It's distracting. Yeah, so I think it is a failure. And I think it's mostly disappointing to be Tuchel's first full year and to still have those problems. Mm-hmm. That being said, again, like speaking of activity in the transfer market, Tuchel's still working with Lampard's team. He got Lukaku, and that was pretty much it. He got Lukaku and Saul. Saul never played. Lukaku obviously didn't really fit the system. I don't know if that was Tuchel's doing or who he wanted or whatnot, but he's still working with Lampard's team. So I think next season will be the bigger tell of Tuchel and Chelsea, and kind of if that will be a long-term project or if that will be,
move on. Mm-hmm.
Like I have no idea, but I think this will be next year will be a bigger year to tell, assuming that he can do some damage in the transfer market this year, which he will have to given our defense and those contracts. But I agree. I think it's a failure because a lot of those problems that we faced under Lampard that Tuchel was looking to fix are still there. So
next year we will be here covering every single game, every single week.
We'll be in England.
We'll be just like with these mics on the sideline, and there goes Guy down the sideline.
Our biggest goal for next year is to get bigger mic stands. We don't spend
Mic
each
stands.
episode.
I want a mic like this.
Terrible backs.
Oh my gosh, we should reflect on ourselves. Have we improved?
We need
throughout our
to
season?
sit back. Let's do that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
This is new.
This is relax, box to box.
I wonder what the audio sounds like right now. If it's just like crinkling.
Yeah, probably don't try not to move it around too much.
Well, because we're always hunched over.
I
That's
know.
not how we look. We look like hunchbacks.
Yeah, I
basically.
agree. So now we're sitting up. Mics in hands. That's for those of you listening at home. That's what's going on. Reflection on box to box. I don't think this is. We'll bring out another episode next week, and then over the summer, I think we'll have more sporadic episodes.
Yeah.
But box to box, season 1 nearing to an end. This is our first season as a podcast. Our first season as podcasters.
Yeah. What a
I like
hectic
it.
life.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Busy life, 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah. Honestly.
So I think it's good. I mean, I think when we first started this off, it was very, like, I remember when we first started, like, we would talk into the microphones and be giggling.
Yeah, and we couldn't take it
I
seriously.
was so nervous to, like, talk.
We were on Zoom, and it's
And
like
the audio was, and
we'd have to raise our hand and see who's speaking.
The Wi-Fi was in and out.
Like, Tommy, say that again. I had no idea what you said.
Tommy, wait, we have to rewind 3 minutes.
I think a big moment was when we were in Nashville and we had like Jack as a guest. I felt like we were facilitating the conversation really well, and we were like pros at it. Like we were like asking Jack questions, and then we like would go on a tangent and like take it away. I feel like that was like, I felt like a professional, you know. I was like, this is my job. I'll take it. Yeah, don't worry.
Exactly.
No, I agree, and that was the first time that we had ever like podcasted around someone else.
Yeah.
And so like I remember Jack said, he was like, oh, that was really fun. Like you guys were good at that facilitation, and I think he was like a great guest as well.
Shout out Jack.
But
Harris.
it was it was fun, and I think I agree. And I think
David.
Yeah.
Shout out David Bogdan.
Yeah. Number one boxer. We appreciate those reposts. So I think it's been good, and I think I think my aspirations for Fox to Fox season 2 would be boost our count.
Boost our count.
It's fun to see when people like comment on our stuff and we get feedback. And I want more of that. And I think we're doing the right steps. Obviously, like all of this is new to us.
Yeah.
Growing a social media account, growing a podcast, growing a YouTube. But I'm proud of us, gentlemen. I'm proud of what we've done.
All our fans are around for this. So you guys, if you're still listening, post a heart in the comments and see how many hearts we get.
It's gonna be so sad.
No hearts.
You're putting yourself out
hearts.
there. Yeah, exactly.
No, I think we've improved a lot, and I feel like we don't realize how much we've improved a lot of times.
Wow.
We're getting really deep.
I think we're doing well.
You don't know. No, I think it's a good medium for all like the skills we're learning, but also it's also just like fun to talk about soccer. It like gives me a reason to watch a game that I would usually not watch and instead just like scroll on my phone. I feel like it's like just like my lifestyle's kind of improved, guys.
Yeah.
But like
it's a productive hobby, I feel.
Yeah, it's a productive hobby, which is like, I don't want my entire life to be like trying to monetize my hobbies, but this is a pretty good like thing to do for the week. Like, oh, I'm just gonna watch like this a replay of a game and like think about it tactically so I can bring something interesting to you guys and bounce ideas off. It's almost like a book club, but with soccer.
I know.
Honestly, that's true. Yeah. Well, yeah. Before we started this podcast, we would just like talk all the time about soccer, and we're like, well, like, what if we actually had a more serious conversation and like put effort into making that conversation more interesting by putting a little time into it.
Mm-hmm.
But then also with that comes all the fun stuff like learning how to record sound, learning how to record video. We have 3 iPhones over here.
3 multi-$1,000
one ring light,
cameras.
and one propped on a water bottle and a Steve Jobs book. So there's room for growth too.
Yeah, there's room for growth. I mean,
you need to buy another tripod. They're like $11.
Yeah.
Shout out Steve Jobs for the iPhones for the cameras.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of drawbacks to this too, like paparazzi, getting recognized in public, not being able to, go on a walk and not be recognized. Like, it's tough sometimes.
Yeah, but I like the close conversations I have with other celebrities, like really breaking down that rise to fame. I talk to like Ryan Reynolds all the time.
Yeah.
It's like
about
the simple
his
stuff, like at like a gala and just like at the urinal next to you, like just actually getting to know Brad Pitt.
Yeah, like Brad Pitt and you like shaking each other's dicks off, like, and that last piss off, like something like that is really nice.
Helping Brad Pitt pee has been honestly one of the highlights of, I guess probably maybe like, not the past year, but the past couple months.
Yeah, of April, yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And like we're all gonna be like probably like Forbes under 30 or whatever it is.
Yeah, but awards don't mean anything to me. It's Brad Pitt.
But I'm excited to go to our first ESPYs.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we can end it there. We're going on. Thank you to anyone who made it this far. We really do appreciate all your support. We got one more episode coming out next week where we will talk about all the drama that happened and do a little Champions League final prediction. And we will see you next week.
Peace.